house of the Lord. Because out of all the places we go, we should find peace, comfort, and love in the church.
Amen.
The church should welcome you with all of your faults, your failures, and your character flaws. The church is supposed to love and never hate. That's why Jesus said, first of all, anybody who comes in any way but by the door, he's a thief and a robber. First of all, brothers and sisters, you cannot shepherd God's people without his leadership.
Amen.
You cannot shepherd God's people unless you've been divinely appointed to do the work at hand.
That's right.
Brothers and sisters, you have to understand something. When you operate in some power other than God in his house, what you are really doing, you have mistaken your own wants and your own will for the commandments of God. You cannot impose such things on folks who have been starved spiritually. Souls are worried and weary. And here we find the Pharisees was really misusing God's people. But I want you to realize something. In verse 2, Jesus said, but he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Anyone that attempts to do God's work, let him be who he may, whether he is Pharisee or priest, prophet or king, pastor or evangelist, unless he approach the sheep the right way, he demeans and condemns himself. Now, hear what I'm saying. He hurts himself in the long run.
That's right.
He may hurt the sheep, but really you're hurting yourself when you mess with God's people.
Amen.
We have to be careful how we interact with one another.
That's right.
You must come in at the door. In other words, you have to go through the Lord.
Amen.
How do I know this? First of all, if you look at Ezekiel 34 and 31 in your spare time, you'll find that God says, and ye my flock, the flock of my pasture are men, and I am your God, saith the Lord. So this lets us know that when we deal with one another, we should be careful what we say, how we say. And brothers and sisters, how many of you know that you can be talking to somebody that's at their wits' end?
You're right.
Somebody that needs a little bit of encouragement. And when you go there, if you say that one negative thing, don't you know you can push them over the edge?
You're right, amen.
And it's especially bad when spiritual leaders or spiritual people find themselves in the position of not knowing how to handle the people of God.
Amen.
You're already in a hurting world.
Yes, Lord.
You're dealing with hurting people that have gone about things. How many of us have tried to do it on our own?
Amen.
Tried to get what we need on our own.
That's right.
Do it our own way. And I'm going to tell you, when you know you're really doing it your own way, you start rationalizing, well, this happened.
That's right.
I don't have what I need, so I'm going to do it my way to get what I need.
All right.
And the worst thing ever happened, one songwriter said, use what you got.
That's right.
To get what you want.
Yes, Lord.
And that's the worst thing you could ever do. You have to understand that you belong to God.
Amen.
You are the sheep of his pasture. You are his flock. And you are important no matter what anybody else says or thinks about you.
Amen.
Notice the Bible says, verse 3, to him, to the one that entereth in at the door, the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by name, and he leadeth them out. The doorkeeper is Christ himself.
Yes, Lord.
Christ says, I am the door. He says, I am the door. This is the agency and ministry that Christ has called us into. You must come in at the door if you are going to care for his people.
Yes.
Brothers and sisters, realize one thing. Christ is the door that opens us up to salvation. When you look at 2 Corinthians 2 and 12, look at what Paul says. Furthermore, when I came to Troas to preach the gospel, a door was opened unto me of the Lord.
Yes.
Colossians 4 and 3 says, withal praying also for us that God would open unto us a door of utterance to speak the mystery of Christ, for which I am also in bonds.
Amen.
Acts 14 and 27, we see him saying again, and when they were come and had gathered the church together, they rehearsed all that God had done with them and how he had opened the door of faith unto the Gentiles. If a door is closed in your face, who can open it?
Jesus.
Nobody but Jesus.
That's right.
He
Amen.
is the door.
Yes, he is.
Whenever the shepherd approaches the door to fetch the sheep in the fold which belong to him, the porter opens unto him. Jesus will open the door, and the true shepherd has at heart the interest of the sheep.
Thank you, Lord.
Don't ever let yourself be in the company or take affinity with people that don't have your best interest at heart.
Amen. You're right.
You have to really look for some things in this world. Anybody that does not have your best interest at heart, you need to leave them alone.
Amen.
You need to find folk that really want to see you do well spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally. A lot of us are holding on to too many friends that don't mean us any good.
Said it. Said it.
You holding on to people, if you are out there on a limb and all it took was $100 for you to come out of all your trouble.
Come on now.
They wouldn't give you that $100 to save your life, and you running around calling them your friend.
That's right. Said it.
You need to learn how to look at people for who and what they are.
Yes, Lord.
You need to realize that God has prepared certain people for you in your life.
Amen.
Look at somebody and say, everybody not for you.
Everybody's not for us.
And guess what I want to tell you? Everybody not going to like you.
Everybody's not going to like us.
Don't get mad when they don't.
That's all right. Keep going.
Brothers and sisters, verse 4 says, when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, and they know his voice. Let me tell you the beauty about being one of God's